Tonight on Cougar News, record-breaking cockfight crackdown in Val Verde.
Plus, locals are pushing for a change after a fatal collision on a canyon road.
Also, catch up on the latest COC sports. Cougar News starts now.
This is Cougar News.
Hello and welcome to Cougar News. I'm Alana Martinez.
And I'm Jake Barabas. We begin tonight with breaking news. It was a busy afternoon for law enforcement in Santa Clarita. After responding to a fatal crash on Highway 14, police quickly switched into pursuit mode. The high-octane chase came to an end in a Newhall apartment complex. The driver of a modified red sports car hit speeds in excess of 80 miles per hour before bailing in a parking garage. The man was apparently driving recklessly in a Stevenson Ranch neighborhood when the chase began. Among the suspect's belongings, deputies found a gray ball cap and a syringe. Investigators say the woman exited the vehicle at some point during the chase. The man was taken into custody a short time later. The whereabouts of the female passenger are unknown.
On Monday, an estimated 7,000 roosters were found at a suspected cockfighting operation in Val Verde, making it the largest seizure of bred birds for fighting in U.S. history. The raid was carrying on to a property on the 29,000 block of Jackson Street in Val Verde, which covered about 80 acres. No arrests were made, but 8 to 10 people were detained to gather information before any official arrests were made.
On Friday, May 12th, sheriff's officials, animal care and control, and the FBI gathered in Newhall for the fatal shooting of a dog involving a federal agent. Sheriff's officials reported that a pit bull attacked the off-duty agent's dog. As the altercation escalated, the agent fired a round into the dog. The pit bull was pronounced dead at the scene.
The country is once again talking about suicide thanks to a popular Netflix show. Here at COC, we take time to bring awareness to the problem that affects so many young adults. Kaja Doros tells us more.
Last week, College of the Canyons hosted Shine a Light, a 2-day event spreading awareness and honoring 1,100 college students who die every year from suicide. COC's Health and Wellness Center was accompanied by several other community mental health organizations offering information about prevention and awareness with a visual representation of lanterns to give perspective about the issues of suicide. Along with the open event in the Honor Grove, Dr. Mark Goldstein spoke to students about suicide prevention and how to get through to somebody who may be suicidal.
Because what suicide is, it's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. They can have certain psychiatric symptoms. Their sleep is messed up, their eating is messed up. A lot of the signs for depression they have, because most suicidal people are also depressed, but not all depressed people are suicidal.
With the recent popularity of the new Netflix original show 13 Reasons Why, suicide has been a major topic of discussion, and Dr. Golson weighs in from an expert's perspective.
Anything that brings attention to this awful epidemic of suicide gets people talking. So anything that gets people talking is good. And so the worry is you're seeing someone deal with the problems in her life by being suicidal. And so people who feel so alone might identify with their character, and they're thinking, oh, so this is what she did to feel better. Oh, I can relate to that. And so I think that's the worry that a lot of us therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, suicide hotlines have about the show.
To get help, or to find out how you can help others, you can call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. For Cougar News, I'm Kaja Doros.
An estimated 22 veterans commit suicide each day. That's a staggering 8,030 a year. I went to the Honor Grove Monday to find out how a few students are doing their part to bring awareness to this epidemic.
That's an epidemic.
It was a gloomy Monday afternoon as helmets and crosses were scattered across the Honor Grove and Old Glory was blowing in the wind. But one message was clear: 22 is too many.
What we have going on here today is really bringing recognition to the number of veterans who commit suicide daily, 22, and at the same time having our passers-by write thank you notes to our veterans, which we will then send forward to Operation Gratitude and the Blue Star Mothers.
On Monday, May 15th, Veterans Awareness Week kicked off at College of the Canyons with 22 a day, a display to bring awareness to veterans' suicide. The display featured Army uniforms, dog tags, as well as grave markers from various religious backgrounds, and a display board with letters for troops. This event, in fact, was put on by students themselves, who felt they needed to get the word out.
And that's an epidemic, seeing my brothers and my sisters pass away at such a high rate. And I wanted to bring awareness to a college community that's pretty not close to a military base, so they're able to see what the type of things that our veterans go through.
For more information about how to get involved, go to civic engagement at canyons.edu. Reporting for Cougar News in the Honor Grove, I'm Jake Barabas.
Have you had a chance to check out the new fidget spinners?
You know, I have, and in fact, I stayed up so late last night playing with one, I had to get a latte this morning before coming to class. Anyway, here's Aaron with what's trending.
Thanks, Jake. A 16-year-old teen from South Carolina recently died due to too much caffeine. According to the coroner, Davis Allen Cribb died from an induced cardiac arrest, which possibly led to abnormal heart rhythm, causing a lack of blood flow in the heart, brain, and other vital organs. The sources of caffeine were from a cafe latte, a large Diet Mountain Dew, and an energy drink, and they were all consumed within a 2-hour period, causing him to collapse on the floor in the middle of class on April 26. According to officials, Cribb's parents hope to inform other teenagers and parents about the dangers of caffeinated beverages. In other news, Delta just announced their all-new machine-operated check-in systems. It is a self-service bag drop only powered by facial recognition technology. So, rather than waiting in line to be welcomed by an agent, you would just check in your luggage and a computer would scan your face to confirm your identity with your passport. It was created so that customers wouldn't have to wait in line too long, and processing will be twice as fast as it would be with a normal agent. However, though the new technology sounds fascinating, officials are uncertain how accurate it will be when older photos are used. Also, fidget spinners are the new rave product for younger kids. They originally created to help kids with attention deficit disorder. However, the fidget spinners are not proven to really help it. However, some think it may be detrimental to the kids and only serves as a distraction. Though they are the latest toy sensation, certain schools have banned them. You can practically find them anywhere, or just look at any young child and you'll probably see one. And that's what's trending. I'm Erin Delis Reyes, and for more stories in and around the Santa Clarita Valley, you can check us out at cougarnews.com. Back to you, Jake.
Thank you, Aaron. A candlelight vigil was held for a missing Santa Clarita man, William Serzian, this past Monday on his 59th birthday. Jonathan Nathaniel reports.
William Serzian is a Saugus resident and Magic Mountain employee that has been missing from his home since January 26, 2017.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us this evening. We're all here, as you guys know, for a candlelight vigil to honor and recognize that we've got a really fine man in our community who has been missing for nearly 15 weeks.
This group of close acquaintances still had hope that one day William Serzian will return.
My name's Andrea, and I'm Will's oldest sister, and every Sunday, Will would give me a phone call.
They shared William's personality.
He loves to laugh and have fun. He loves to sit in the backyard, watch the garden grow, and play with the dog. And right around dusk, his favorite time of day, he's often said to me, "It doesn't get any better than this."
All of you tonight, thank you so much. Appreciate it. My family appreciates it. And even for all of you wonderful news folks that have been following our story, we're so appreciative that you've kept this alive with us and made people think, maybe I know something, maybe I heard something, or, you know, maybe I can help this family and bring Will home. So thank you so much.
People ask me, do you think he's still out there? And I remember this quote. When the world says give up, hope whispers, try it one more time. Today is Will's birthday, and with God's help, we know that Will is coming home safely very soon. Thank you for your thoughts and continued prayers. And when you light your candles, please remember that faith is seeing light with your heart when all your eyes can see is darkness. Thank you and God bless.
If you have any information, please contact the Sheriff's Department or the family at facebook.com/missing Will Serzan. For Cougar News, I'm John Nathaniel.
Many students worry that censorship is taking away their First Amendment right. Cougar News reporter Lisa Okafor has more on the story.
From canceled speeches to violent riots, it's no secret that free speech on college campuses is an ongoing issue. Some students feel like no matter how controversial, people should be allowed to share their opinions. Other students feel that censorship is necessary to keep people from offending certain groups.
Freedom of speech extends as far as people having the right to express an opinion and not enforcing it on other people. I'd say that freedom of speech should be allowed. I think censorship is wrong.
Free speech for me is just like an individual voicing their opinion. If it's through like literature, art, really anything. Personally, I feel like there isn't a lot of free speech here on campus, mostly just because people mostly feel like they'll be judged a certain way or they won't be able to voice their opinions a certain way.
Due to what's been happening recently in the outside world, especially among those transgendered Muslims and, the LGBTQ, those specifically, now more than ever, we should raise awareness about not trying to, hurt everyone.
People should be allowed access to the knowledge that other people are giving out. But as a campus and as a university, I think we should all try to conduct a certain level of decency.
You should be able to voice your opinions without people getting, offended by the topic or anything in general, to where they can see different viewpoints, because only being one-sided and not hearing one side or the other, it's I feel like it's kind of biased just staying on one side. So hearing the full aspect and the full ideas of things is important for all people to understand.
For Cougar News, I'm Lisa Okafor.
Did you know there was a showdown on campus recently? 5 COC political science professors recently got together for a heated conversation.
Are you buying time? He's buying time.
The Political Science and Model United Nations Club joined forces to promote student participation in all levels of
the
politics.
The last Professor Showdown was held just after Trump was elected, and now that we've just passed the 100-day mark, we thought it was a good time to hold another one.
The students and professors were brought together for an entertaining yet informative experience.
In addition to moderating, I was working alongside Professor Andrus, who is actually the chair of the department, to write all of the questions, and then we also figured out the format for everything, trying to make it fun and get as much audience involvement as possible while still making it extremely substantive.
The panel consisted of Professor Nick Hernandez, Dr. Deems Mariotti, Dr. Majid Mosley, Dr. Phil Gusson, and Professor David Andrews of the Political Science Department.
Bringing in the students to communicate not only with the professors in a non-classroom setting is completely optimal, because we do have quality faculty here, and it's involving them is of utmost importance.
The debate landed within a week from the 100 days in office for President Donald Trump.
Not that much has happened. So, with that said,
the showdown lasted 2 hours and was presented in 3 segments.
What we really wanted to do was to engage the audience, to have audience participation. As the president of the Political Science Club, what I really emphasize is for students to go ahead and always be involved, stating your opinions and making sure that your voice is heard is crucial.
All right, that about does it for the Political Science Showdown here at College of the Canyons. Be sure to look out for the next event coming up May 17th at 2 p.m. in the same room, Boykin Hall 105, where the 2 clubs will put on a game show based on political science issues and topics. Reporting for Cougar News, I'm Gilbert Bernal.
Coming up on Cougar News, what to do if you see a pet locked in a hot car?
Plus, we see why some residents are concerned about a local canyon road. Stay tuned.
The American Red Cross urgently needs blood and platelet donations and asks donors to schedule an appointment to give now. Every 2 seconds, someone in the United States needs blood. Your blood donation is critical and can help save lives. Please, schedule an appointment today. Download the Blood Donor app, visit redcrossblood.org, or call 1-800-Red Cross today. You can make a difference.
They've been very caring. They care about every single student that's in the class.
Yeah, everyone seems to be like pretty friendly with each other. Like no one's really afraid to ask each other for help.
Working with other people, not being ornery, actually, listening to what people say, collaborating with them to create a really good product.
It's great to use the same stuff the pros use, especially at a community college.
Hopefully we give them a pathway to have their creativity showcased.
I've gotten a great education.
I love the access to equipment.
I've made lifelong friendships.
I have great teachers.
You're watching Cougar News.
I had the opportunity to interview Deputy Kevin Duxbury about the importance of the Right to Rescue Act. As summer's approaching, so are the hot temperatures. Deputy Kevin Duxbury discusses the Rights to Rescue Act and the precautions to follow to make sure you're legally safe.
The whole idea of the Rights to Rescue Act is that if you see an animal locked in a vehicle that you think is in distress, you can take immediate action to remove that animal from the vehicle. But there are certain laws and certain precautions that you have to take prior to doing that.
The inside of a car typically gets about 20 degrees hotter than the outside temperature.
The biggest thing is that the animal has to be in some kind of immediate danger of either heat exposure, cold exposure, possibly starvation or dehydration. So you're going to have to be able to determine that. And additionally, before you can take any action, you actually have to call law enforcement. Now in Santa Clarita, we take these kinds of incidents very seriously, and we will have a very short response time. So unless you think that animal is going to die within the next couple of minutes, I would advise waiting for law enforcement to get there and evaluate the situation. In the event that the animal is in immediate distress and some kind of rescue cannot get there in time and you save the animal, as the law is written, you will not be responsible or liable for damages. However, you have to use minimum force to get into the vehicle. That means, just that, minimal damage to the vehicle to access the animal. So if you had the option of breaking a window, but you rip the door off, you're going to be liable for the damages of that vehicle. You're also going to be liable if you did not take the prior actions of trying to notify law enforcement, fire, or animal control to rescue the animal. The other options, or not options, but the other responsibilities you have is once you rescue the animal, you can take it to a safe location, but you have to stay within the proximity of the vehicle.
For Cougar News, I'm Alana Martinez.
Residents are calling for change after a fatal collision occurred on San Francisco Canyon Road. The crash claimed the lives of a 7-year-old girl and a resident from Green Valley. Sammy Giebers has the story.
Residents in Green Valley are weary of San Francisco Canyon Road.
You get a lot of maniacs, and the people that live up here, for the most part, aren't the ones that are the problem.
Signs are put up to protect children.
You'll see more performance cars, sometimes driving faster than they normally should.
And stories of those traveling along the canyon make some nervous.
It really, really can be dangerous. We see people passing on the double yellow, on blind curves, almost every time I drive on the road now.
And traveling over the double yellow line was what caused one recent fatal collision on the road, claiming the lives of two, including a 7-year-old girl and a 75-year-old man from Green Valley.
Their whole life just changed. Their retirement goals, their plans, their family, their time with their grandkids, it all just changed that quick.
The crash prompted one Green Valley resident to start a petition hoping to make the roads safer.
And I want to be part of a solution. It's hard to sit back and watch our neighbors dying because of careless drivers.
And with over 1,000 signatures, it's clear that traveling on the road is a concern.
Even before this collision, we had been listening to the community and posting additional patrols out in that area.
This has been the only fatal collision on the Canyon Road in the past 12 months, and 28 crashes on the road have led to injury in the past year.
They are not as frequent as you might think. It seems like they're often, they really aren't.
It's scary. Not that long ago, I had someone pass me right before this blind corner.
Still, the fear relating to the windy roads of the canyon is very real.
I think that everyone was so upset that it makes you feel better to try to fix the problem or try to make some change.
We don't like to say the road's dangerous. The road isn't dangerous. It's the drivers that make it dangerous.
So the next time you hit the canyon,
Don't speed. Don't rush. Take your time. Get to work safely. Get to where you're going safely and in one piece for yourself and for everybody else.
reporting for Cougar News, I'm Sammy Giebers.
Hey Jake, how are your singing vocals?
You know, people say I have the voice of a 70-year-old smoker, so they're not too hot.
Well, I think Dom can help you out with that.
Thanks, guys. Santa Clarita vocal coach Renee Urbanovich talks about being creative, finding your voice. Cajadores has more.
In the heart of Santa Clarita, Saugus resident Renee Urbanovich has started a business based solely on the idea of expressing creativity. The local voice instructor teaches people all over the valley how to properly use their voices while singing without damaging their vocal cords, and she does this all from her home. After damaging her own vocal cords as a teen, she decided that she would take her knowledge of experience to help other people achieve their goals as performers.
I think I've been teaching in this house and in this valley 30 years. It was great for me because I raised 4 kids here in this house, and I just walk out to the studio and teach. I started out with Whistlong and just did voice training. And so now we've expanded into creativity advocacy. So we focus a lot on creativity. I love building self-confidence, and I love building self-esteem, and I love helping people be creative and find out how to write songs and express themselves.
You know more than you think you know.
If I can help people understand why they're driven to do what they do, as well as help them figure out how to execute and navigate the how.
Urbanovich has traveled near and far, coaching people of all ages, even people already in the spotlight, like Bette Midler and Kevin McHale.
I think the thing that sets me apart from other voice teachers is I am not a musician. I'm a human being with a really expert ear, and I've been damaged, and I know about the vocal cords. And I am not here for music. I'm here to help people discover their voice, and to discover it correctly, people are required to belt high A flats. And so I'm here to help them meet the demands of the industry and to do it healthfully, but not to mimic.
Reporting for Cougar News, I'm Cajadores.
Looking for a night of comedy? The COC improv team made their debut, and there's much more behind the spontaneity than you might think.
My name is Daniel Heiser. I'm 168 in dog years, and if you want to know about my love life, just imagine a VCR in a garage sale.
Before their first show that brought in a full house, COC's comedy improv team didn't always have a laughing audience.
Well, before we were not official, and we had to practice outside because we didn't have a room. So we were outside of Hasley, and we would have to deal with people passing by and us getting distracted because of noise, and it was hard to listen to each other. So we just kind of were meeting outside as a rogue group.
But with the charter, the crew has gone from practicing outside around rushed passers-by to performing on a stage in front of an engaged audience.
Keep the scene moving. Don't keep doing something. Don't just die sitting there, talking. Who up where?
Well, that's the point of an improv show. Like, you go there to be engaged, and you ask the audience for suggestions so they know that you're making it up on the spot, because that's what improv is. And you promise them that you're making it up on the spot, so you want to have them involved as much as possible so that they realize that it's not. We didn't practice it. We practiced, but we didn't rehearse it.
The team also has a club that meets every other Tuesday, in which everybody's welcome to perform with these up-and-coming comedians. For Cougar News, this is Mauricio LaPlante.
That's it for entertainment. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Dom. Emily Giordano sat down with Jordan Urbanovich to discuss his new media company, Perception Travel. Here's more.
Filmmaker and social entrepreneur Jordan Urbanovich traveled to Nepal to learn more about Tibetan singing bowls, but ended up learning more about the effects of tourism on the global community.
The film itself follows my story of going to figure out what's the story with these bulls and talking to different people, talking to experts, talking to other travelers that were really into the bulls.
Jordan is a Santa Clarita native who now travels all over the world.
I was born and raised in Saugus, California, part of sunny Santa Clarita.
While in Nepal, he documented his experience through a GoPro camera, which he turned into his film called Going to Nepal with a Camera on My Forehead.
Name's Jordan. I don't have a team, I don't have any equipment, I don't have any money. You know, how do I make films? So I thought, okay, I'll try something new. I'll show people my travels from my own perspective.
On April 28, 2015, there was a 7.8 magnitude earthquake that killed over 8,000 people. At the time, Jordan was in Pokhara, Nepal, playing music with friends while his camera captured the entire earthquake.
We had the GoPro on my forehead running during the earthquake. We were in a jam session and we were playing music and the earthquake hit and we were like, uh-oh, what's going on? And we all run outside and the camera's rolling. We kept jamming for the kids and we were shaking, like scared, like everyone, but we just kept playing music, you know, like good vibes.
After the earthquake, Jordan joined other tourists helping the relief efforts. The second half of his film transformed into a documentation process of a global community coming together in time of tragedy.
When we went out to distribute the relief and show foreigners and local Nepalese people coming together, you know, in this time of disaster, show that the happiness of community, of people coming together.
Perception Travel focuses on using media to build community on a global scale.
So I thought, hey, let's start a non-profit media company that's not about money, it's just about smiles.
Perception Travel looks to focus on the good instead of the bad. He believes there is enough negative perception of the world through our current media programs, and thanks to the disaster in Nepal, Jordan realized his mission to show the different sides of stories we hear about every day.
And it's the biggest community builder in the history of man, is natural disaster. And so it's like, why do we need the Mother Earth to push us in that direction? When we're clearly happier when we're working together.
To see more of the smiling side of things, go to Perception Travel's YouTube channel. For Cougar News, I'm Emily Giordano.
Still to come on Cougar News, learn about the impact a Santa Clarita inventor has on scuba diving.
Also, learn about a new political dating site. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, this is T-Boz at TLC.
This is Batman.
I'm Michael C. Morona.
And I'm Danny Tamborelli.
Hi, this is Ming Chen.
This is Mike Zapsik.
Hi, it's Louis Anderson.
I'm Weird Al.
I'm Florence Henderson.
You're watching.
And 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 you lucky people are watching Cougar News.
Cougar News.
Cougar News. Cougar News. Cougar News.
You're watching Cougar News.
And I'm a cougar.
Stay tuned.
Habitat for Heroes.
Really, it's a story about people.
Letting people see that they're not alone, they're not isolated. We're here to help.
And we need to work on behalf of our veterans.
Then we can really change that veteran's ability to reintegrate into the community.
Habitat for Heroes is not just rebuilding homes, but it's rebuilding lives.
And that's the message we want to get across.
Get involved. Visit habitatscv.org and find out how you can help.
What? This? Watch.
It's estimated that California will need 11 trillion gallons of water to end this 4-year drought.
Since 1994, COC has made an effort to ensure all structures on campus are built with earthquakes in mind.
The importance of accuracy is key to Paul Bond's reporting. Such a story where facts could be easily exaggerated might just cause Bond to return back to South Korea.
Although filming at College of the Canyons generates upwards of $1 million a year.
Today, everyone is here to celebrate one thing. Live.
More than 3,000 participants ran locally in support for finding a cure for spinal cord injury.
What are you doing? Go watch the news or something. Awesome town, I swear.
You're watching Cougar News.
Recently, local high school students launched a high-altitude weather balloon to learn more about the atmosphere. Emily Giordano has more.
3, 2, 1. West Range students launched a high-altitude weather balloon into the atmosphere. It all started 4 years ago when one student asked if it was possible to collect cosmic dust. Astronomy teacher Christine Hurst was determined to answer his question and had students in her class design a weather balloon to try to mimic an experiment that had only ever been completed by NASA. The astronomy class at West Ranch has sent a balloon into the atmosphere every year since.
This project is amazing for a lot of different reasons. What is awesome about it is seeing the students develop their own science projects that they get to test. But what's really cool is seeing the maturation that they get through the whole process, seeing how they collaborate, how they work together towards a common goal. They have to work under the confines of a timeline that doesn't change.
This year's balloon was equipped with 9 different experiments, all designed by students, and GoPro cameras.
Each time there's like a different experiment. Like last year we had set up a snail and a scorpion. This year we're setting up like things like blood, a goldfish, and even gum to space just to see what will happen.
After the high-altitude weather balloon was released, the class tracked the balloon's speed and altitude as the balloon traveled, while another set of students were sent out to recover the experiments and the footage. The balloon was expected to reach over 100,000 feet and be up in the air for over an hour. The launch was a great way for students to work together as a team while also learning more about the Earth's atmosphere. The balloon ended up traveling over 40 miles all the way to Lancaster. For Cougar News, I'm Emily Giordano.
Inventors love to find ways to make life easier or safer. One local man aims to do just that for his passion, scuba diving. Ian Murray has more.
Scuba diving can be a captivating, inspiring, and sometimes dangerous hobby. In response, local inventor and business owner Joe Tarrant decided to create an instrument that would make scuba diving safer for all.
I developed a test stand to automate the procedure of testing scuba regulators.
Joe's test stand determines the reliability of scuba regulators over time and can be vital to protect divers from hazards like nitrogen poisoning, known as the bends. For Joe, the rewards of diving make it well worth the risk.
Oh, it's a whole new world out there. It's interesting looking at different species, how they live in a different environment. It's amazing, just like another planet.
And if you're thinking of taking that plunge yourself, visit your local scuba store. For Cougar News, I'm Ian Murray. Stay swifty, Santa Clarita.
Are you playing any sports this season?
I haven't been able to ever since I pulled my spleen, but my friend Tanner has a story that's a hole-in-one.
Thanks, guys. The track team continued their successful season at the SoCal Championships with several Cougars qualifying for the state championship. Jasmine Hall won the women's high jump while Deani Ellis won the 3,000-meter steeplechase. The state championships will be held this Friday and Saturday in Sacramento. Also, the CLC softball team looked to continue their postseason run when they hit the road last weekend to take on #1 ranked Cypress College in the Southern California Super Regional Tournament. The game started off great for the Cougars when Azzie Anderson led off the top of the second inning with a solo shot to give the Cougars a 1-0 lead. With some great pitching by starter Alexis Ramirez and strong defensive play, the Cougars took their 1-run lead all the way to the fourth inning. Cypress's offense finally woke up when they knocked in 2 runs with an RBI triple in the bottom of the fourth inning to give themselves a 2-1 lead. Cypress added 3 more runs, 2 of them coming off this 2-run home run in the bottom of the 6th inning, giving them the 5-1 victory over the Cougars.
I mean, you're playing a team that's, like I said, they're 43-0 for a reason. They put the ball into play and they're aggressive. But the way we played, you know, we played with nothing to lose. And I was happy with the girls, the way they came out and battled hard. You know, a couple little mistakes here and there. You know, you just can't make those kind of mistakes against a good team like that.
The Cougars then moved to the consolation bracket of the tournament, where they lost the back-and-forth contest against Santiago Canyon by a score of 9-5. This loss ended their outstanding season, where they ended with a 30-13-1 overall record. They also had 9 of their players earn spots on the All-WSC honor teams. Although Cypress was able to beat the COC softball team, the COC golf team was able to even the score when they played them on Monday in the state championship.
It was a one-day 36-hole tournament that took place at Cypress Ridge Golf Course. All 5 of COC's players were able to score in the 70s during the morning round of the tournament. Jay Klim led the way for the Cougars in the morning round, shooting a 2 under par with a score of 70. With the winds picking up in the afternoon round, the Cougars struggled a bit, but were still able to pull off an impressive score, with Daniel Taplin leading the way with a 74. The Cougars would go on to win the tournament with an overall score of 761. This win gave the Cougars their 3rd title in 5 years, with the first 2 coming in 2013 and the second in 2015. Cypress College came in second with a score of 785, and Ventura College rounded out the top 3 with a score of 789. And that's all with sports. Jake, back to you.
Thank you, Tanner. Early this month, motocross fans flocked to Palmdale for some fun in the dirt. Here's Gilbert Bernal with the whole story.
Resonating out from the desert was the Trans World Motocross Practice and Race Series. The event took place at the Los Angeles County Raceway in Palmdale, California. This was the 3rd round of the West Coast Open, sponsored by Trans World Motocross and Spy Sunglasses. Droves of motocross fans tracked out to see the riders fly and tear up the terrain. The event held several races that were divided up based on age, engine size, and skill level. In total, there were 54 races that put the riders' skill to the test out on the track. Riders weren't the only ones tested. Parents anxiously stood off track and watched their kids defy gravity. Joshua Parker from Riverside, California, and a motocross fan since 8 years old, has 2 sons competing.
Oh, we're out here racing the Trans World Series, which we normally do most of the series of. I have two sons. Jay's my oldest, he's 12. My little boy's 7. Jay races the 85 class. Jordan races the 50cc class, and he's the only kid in the United States racing for a European bike company called CSM Motorcycles. We're out here representing today, man. We're doing good and having some fun, man.
Another family that came out to ride was the Ward Brothers Racing Team. The Ward Brothers are a team of 3 boys ages 7 to 9 from Camarillo, California. The team has been racing motocross for 4 years and all attribute their abilities to
practice, and believe in yourself.
Overall, the event went off without any major injuries until Eric Brudel, a teen rider from Quartz Hill, became separated from his bike in mid-air off the triple jump. Eric hit the ground feet first. He was airlifted off the track to the Los Angeles Children's Hospital. He thanked the first responders and the flight crew for taking care of him on his Instagram account. To find out the race results, go to motocross.transworld.net and click the results in the menu heading. There you will find all the information for the practice and race results. Reporting for Cougar News, I'm Gilbert Bernal.
A local man in the motion picture industry starts a dating site with a political twist. Luis Gomez has more on the story.
Meet Dave Goss. He grew up in Santa Clarita and is a film industry veteran who has made one of the most unlikely of career changes.
I've been told to go kill myself a handful of times on Twitter, and I've also heard from people, thank you for having this site.
Not exactly a normal way to start a conversation, but let's find out what can cause such divisive reactions.
Well, I started my own business, and I started this while I was still working on the television show Face Off. It was TrumpSingles.com. We weren't expecting it to be anything big. We weren't even expecting Trump to win. Like, we saw that he was probably going to get the nomination, so we were going to start this, run this through November, just have a good time with it, probably make our money back, make a few extra bucks, and then all of a sudden it blew up. And so I'm back in my first week of season 12 of Face Off, and all of a sudden I'm getting phone calls, I'm doing interviews 3 times a day while I'm still trying to run the finances for the art department. And it was my time to leave the film industry and start my own business, which I've always wanted to do.
It seems Dave now has his plate full with a new website. We asked what's in store for his future.
We've started a podcast, a very conservative, non-PC, unfiltered podcast where we drink beer while we're talking and we live stream.
Dave also has a strong sense of helping the community. When we asked if he did any volunteer work,
we've helped a friend who was part of the VA. He needed a double lung transplant, and he just got approved to have his double lung transplant at UCLA, so he's not going to die.
So what kind of advice does Dave have for people who feel they can't speak out on their beliefs?
I understand that sometimes it's going to be tough when it comes to a work situation like I was in, where I couldn't be myself working in the entertainment industry all the time, but always be true to who you are, and don't be afraid to stand up for what you believe in.
Reporting for Cougar News, this is Luis Gomez.
That does it for this edition of Cougar News. I'm Alana Martinez. Remember, you can catch us on the web at cougarnews.com.
And I'm Jake Barabas. You can also send us news tips and story ideas to our Twitter, COC_Cougar News. Have a good night, everybody.